You've heard of KFC, you've had Red Rooster, but have you ever tasted the fried chicken that West Aussies swear is better than both, and that the rest of Australia barely knows exists? Ladies and gents, meet Chicken Treat, the fast food chicken chain that's absolutely crushing it in Western Australia, while somehow being a total nobody in the rest of the country. Why does this fried chicken underdog thrive in one state and fail to launch in the rest? And is it actually better than the big brands? Let's take a hot, crispy dive into one of Australia's most fascinating and strangely regional fast food success stories. It all started in 1976 when Chicken Treat opened its very first store in Perth. At the time, fast food in Australia was still in its awkward teenage years. McDonald's had only just shown up, Hungry Jack's was barely known, and KFC was still considered exotic. But Chicken Treat didn't try to copy what everyone else was doing. Instead of going for buckets of greasy fried chicken, they served up rotisserie chicken that's juicy, golden, and seasoned to perfection. It was fast food, sure, but it had a homemade vibe. The kind of meal your mum might have served on a Sunday roast, but wrapped in takeaway foil with a pile of chips. That formula clicked fast. Chicken Treat quickly became a go-to across Western Australia, planting roots in suburbs, highway rest stops, and regional towns. And this wasn't just about convenience. It became a cultural thing. Ask anyone from Western Australia and they'll probably have childhood memories tied to a chicken roll or those legendary chips. But Chicken Treat didn't stay a small town hero for long. Behind the scenes, it was about to join forces with one of its biggest rivals. Chicken Treat's parent company, Australian Fast Foods, made a bold move. It bought Red Rooster. Yep, the brand most people on the East Coast grew up with was suddenly part of the same family tree as Chicken Treat. But instead of merging the two, they split their focus. Red Rooster was pushed east, Chicken Treat held down the west. It was like two chicken generals dividing the country and agreeing not to step on each other's turf. In the 2000s, both brands were merged under a massive holding company now called Craveable Brands, the chicken overlords who also own a Porto. So yes, behind the scenes, one company controls 3 of Australia's biggest chicken chains. It's like the chicken Mafia, and Chicken Treat is the wild, slightly feral cousin that nobody can quite figure out. With that kind of corporate muscle behind it, Chicken Treat finally had the resources to go national. Well, they tried. Chicken Treat launched trial stores in Queensland and New South Wales. The plan was to spread that Western Australia success across the rest of the country, but it didn't work. The problem was that no one knew what Chicken Treat was. In Sydney or Melbourne, people walked past the signs and assumed it was some Red Rooster knockoff. There was zero brand recognition, no nostalgia, no emotional pull. And on top of that, the East Coast fast food scene is packed. KFC, Macca's, Guzmán y Gomez, Grilled, Zambrero, and trendy chicken joints on every block. It's not that Chicken Treat was bad, it was just invisible in a market drowning in options. Meanwhile, back in Western Australia, it was a totally different story. There, Chicken Treat is pretty unbeatable. And a big part of that is the food itself. The quarter chicken and chips is what they're famous for. A juicy roast chicken quarter, seasoned to perfection, served with their legendary seasoned chips. Western Australia locals argue they're better than KFC. And look, they might be right. Then there's the simple, old school, but weirdly addictive chicken roll. Shredded chicken, lettuce, and mayo in a soft bun. That's it. But it works. It's the kind of thing you didn't know you missed until you try one and wonder why every other chain doesn't do it. And now, Chicken Treat does fried chicken too. Not KFC style buckets, but more of a crispy filet option, closer to what Red Rooster's trying these days. They've also added plant-based options, burgers, snack boxes, and chicken ribs in recent years. So they're not stuck in the past, they're evolving quietly. Their marketing is also quite inventive. Back in 2015, Chicken Treat pulled off one of the weirdest and most memorable fast food campaigns in Australia. They handed over their official Twitter account to a live chicken named Betty. Yes, a real chicken. Betty was placed in a specially designed coop with a keyboard connected to Twitter. Every time she pecked at the keys, it sent out a tweet that was total gibberish and pure chaos. But the goal? To have Betty eventually type a real 5-letter English word and go down in bird-brained history. The campaign was called #ChickenTweet, and it blew up online. People around the world tuned in to see what Betty would tweet next and what nonsense would show up on the timeline. Media outlets from Time to Mashable covered it. It was weird, it was hilarious, and it was exactly the kind of marketing that sticks in your brain. And that's when Chicken Treat started becoming known for more than just its food. The campaign gave the brand a personality, fun, offbeat, and totally okay with being a little ridiculous. In a sea of corporate, polished fast food brands, Chicken Treat was the one that let a chicken tweet and called it a strategy. And honestly, it worked. In Western Australia, Chicken Treat is comfort. For a lot of people, it's the first fast food they ever ate. It's the place you stop on a road trip or hit up after a long beach day. It's the only thing open at 9 p.m. in some regional towns. Even as new food trends roll in, Chicken Treat stays locked into the lifestyle. It's not trying to be cool, it already is, just by being familiar. That kind of loyalty can't be replaced, and it would be challenging to replicate that on the East Coast, no matter how much marketing you throw at it. That said, Chicken Treat hasn't totally given up on spreading its wings. In recent years, they've quietly opened stores in regional Queensland and northern New South Wales, mostly soft launches, no big media splash. They're modernizing too, fresh branding, new store designs, delivery integration, and a stronger fried chicken game. But they're not rushing, they're watching, testing, taking their time, which, honestly, might be the smartest play. Rather than forcing a national rollout and burning money on hype, Chicken Treat is waiting for the right locations, ones that might actually appreciate the West Coast charm. Because Chicken Treat doesn't want to be everywhere, it wants to be wanted. In the end, Chicken Treat is one of the most fascinating fast food stories in Australia. It's a chain that could have gone national. It had the chance, the resources, and the backing. But instead of chasing domination, it doubled down on local love. It stayed true to its Western Australia identity. It leaned into the quirks, it got weird on Twitter, and it stayed consistent in the kitchen. And somehow, that made it more powerful. So, if you ever find yourself in Perth, skip the usual suspects. Find a Chicken Treat, get the chicken roll, get the chips, ask for extra seasoning, and experience a slice of fried chicken history that the rest of Australia still doesn't quite understand. Because Chicken Treat isn't trying to be everything to everyone. It's trying to be exactly what Western Australia wants, and that's what makes it one of the greatest fast food stories never told. But what do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below and let's discuss. And if you enjoyed this story, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss out on more deep dives like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay curious.